the show. First, I want to thank you for coming back on. You always bring the thunder and the noise and the insight, so I love that. But to start the show, I thought we'd hop in a time machine and go backwards to play a little Brand Then and Now. Would you like to play Brand Then?
Sure, why not?
If you guys do not know, Branden was actually a very successful actor before he was a top successful agent. He's been successful in everything. And as I was digging, I'm digging last night and being like, oh my God, I want you to explain each picture to us. What is going on here? Who's this?
I don't know. That was a whole different time and lifetime in my life, but
but still branding with the necklace, with the W.
Yeah. Oh, you
branding.
I had the key on my neck. I knew that there was a future in real estate
because
I wasn't that good at acting.
Okay, what's happening in this picture? Were you in the music video Crush?
I'm not gonna admit to that. No, I'm not gonna admit to that.
Okay, fine. Well, will you admit to this? Guest starring on Will and Grace.
That's the one thing I'll admit to. I'm very proud of.
I'm very proud of this.
I grew up in West Hollywood. I love West Hollywood. It's all my people. And I got to play Will's first kiss on Will and Grace.
I remember this episode as a young, impressionable gay man. I thought, oh, that guy's cute. And then this was the kiss. Amazing.
Yeah, that was his first kiss on television, which was a big deal.
But you have a lot of firsts in real estate, and now you have first in Will and Grace
That
history.
was actually one of my first gay kisses too. And to be honest with you, being a straight man, it wasn't so bad.
But that's because he was shaved. See, when we make out, it's all, you get really
I don't
weirded
know.
out.
I'm kind of into this beard thing,
You look so hot in this picture and so young. How old are you on the show?
I think I was like 24 there.
I love it. But you age well. Here's a picture of you side by side. I prefer Dad Branden.
Yeah, it was a time in my life where I was, young Hollywood rebel, but now I'm just that, I'm just that neighborhood family realtor dad guy.
Yes. Dad guy.
I drive a Tesla X now, a soccer dad car, and I'm actually loving it. I've never been happier.
Really? So you love being a dad. Here's a really scary video of you making your 2-year-old son surf.
Yeah, well, you got to start him young.
That's incredible. I'm sure Rainey's videotaping this just in case anything bad happens, but I love this because your son already has the surfer hair. There he is.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, Gianni. Love that kid.
So cute. Explain to us what's going on in this picture with you and Rainey.
Well, we were trying to get some dramatic wedding shots. It was just the two of us in Paris, and we got all decked out. We were trying to recreate a scene out of The Godfather.
We've got WWE Women's Wrestling in the comment section asking, why do actors turn into realtors? Why do you think?
Why do I think? Well, because being an actor, you have to be in sales and you have to sell yourself. And I think you have to be in front of the camera and present products, present a character, and I think it's a natural to then sell properties and work with other people and present properties. It's a sociable job, and people that tend to be good at it have ADD and are very sociable. So I think that's most actors.
Sam Palmer says more money is why they become realtors.
Well, I got into real estate before it was cool. I got into real estate before there was any TV shows, before, it was really I got in it during the subprime, and I was one of the youngest people to get into it. And to be honest with you, I was like, I'll be in this job for a year, and then hopefully I'll get a big TV show, or I'll do something else and something else will happen. And then I actually really started loving it. And I got to bring in acting. I got to bring in fashion. I got to bring in architecture and all of these great things and work with so many of my actor friends. Because I grew up out here. I don't want to name drop, but I've got to work with a lot of my big actor friends.
And I say that about real estate. It's kind of a microcosm of the Hollywood world. We get to work with celebrities and executives and television people, but in a more personal way because it's their house.
And what's so funny is I was on my jet ski in Malibu. I was jet skiing. I bought a jet ski this summer, and I wake up in the morning and I go up and down the coast, and I pull up on this guy on the hydrofoil. It's that new surfboard that goes out of the water and it's on an electric motor.
Yeah, and it has like a tail like this.
Yeah, and it's great. So I play and I go, how is that? I want to buy one. And the guy looked at me and he goes, were you that guy on Entourage? He goes, I know that face. And I just thought it was funny because I ended up selling a couple of the producers of Entourage their houses. And it was like, out of all things, this guy knows me because I did a few episodes on Entourage. I just think it's
You
funny.
did more than a few episodes. I was looking at your IMDb. You did like 8. What was that experience like? And do you think that's your claim to fame?
Well, Entourage was obviously, it was an amazing show. And I sold Rob Weiss, the producer, a house. And Rob was like, man, you used to be an actor. You killed it. Like, I want to put you on the show. And I was like, hey, for some street cred and to keep me out there, like, I'd love to do it. So he didn't, it wasn't a big part. I would come on and on. I was part of the Five Towns guy, part of the Five Towns, which was Johnny Drama's show on the show. And I was, at the time, a pretty big realtor. And I was literally sitting on set because if you're not the lead of the show, you're literally sitting around waiting most of the time. And I'm
all the time.
I'm funneling phone calls and I'm like, I got to get back to work. Like, I'm not getting paid enough to do this. And I had all these deals going on. And it was kind of a realization that, yes, acting is amazing and it's fun. And if you're not going to be a major actor, which I never studied to be an actor, it wasn't my number one passion. And it made me realize that I was actually in the right place doing real estate.
But it can feed your acting career really fed your real estate career in the beginning. Like you said, you sold to a lot of the Entourage people. Entourage, I said. But let me say, did you ever sell a house to Jessica Alba, who you're pictured with here?
No, I haven't sold to Jessica Alba. She's still a friend. I love Jessica Alba. But funny enough, the girl next to her is Jordan Ladd. And I sold Jordan Ladd's father's house, and they're part of the Ladd acting dynasty. So
dynasty.
Yeah.
Okay. What about James Franco, who you're pictured with here? So young.
Well, I worked with James Franco in real estate. That was James Franco's first movie, and we did that movie together. And at the time, James Franco was working at McDonald's. When he got that movie, that was his first movie. And I looked at James Franco and I said, man, you're the next James Dean. You look like James Dean. He loved James Dean. And right after that, he played James Dean and his career went crazy. Next to that is where your circle is Jeremy Jordan, who is a famous singer and a pretty big actor. So all of these guys I still talk to, I still have relationships with, and it's just nice to see us growing as people, human beings.
Yeah.
And James Franco is still killing it as an actor, and I got to work with him like not too long ago. So it's nice to be full circle.
Don't forget Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who you worked with. I mean, you worked with everybody in that kind of like 90s, She's All That. What movie is this?
I think that was Halloween H2O.
Scary.
Yeah.
And the old headshot that I dug up. How handsome are you?
Please don't, like, it's so to me that was like, I don't know. I feel like a different person now.
You are a different person. Look, you're a dad. I think you're more handsome, older. Some guys get better with age. And you are the #1 agent, along with your wife, on the West Coast in the entire country. You guys are killing it. So let's hop over. Thank you so much for going down memory lane with me, Branden. I know that can be painful sometimes, but that was Branden and now.
Yep.
Yep. Now we're going to go over to one of your listings, which has a lot of Hollywood pedigree. It's called 510 Stonewood Drive, but it's also available. It's 2 lots. They're both available for $38 million. We've got 510 Stonewood Drive and 520 Stonewood Drive. And it has a little bit of history. Let's go into it. So tell us about the history of these 2 lots. Let me show you the aerial of the lots first. Here we go. Where are we?
So we're in Beverly Hills. We're right above the Greystone Mansion, which is Doheny Road, Schuyler Road. It's in the best part of the hills. You literally feel like you're in Lake Tahoe or somewhere in the mountains, and you're 2 minutes off the Sunset Strip. It's very close to where I live, right next to Truesdale. And they called that Villa Tranquilla, which I love that name. I can say it a million times, Villa Tranquilla. And it was right also next to the Knoll. So it was one of the great properties in that, probably one of the best locations in Beverly Hills. And God, man, look at the good old days. I look at that and I just want to go back.
But what's funny about this photo, and your client actually hired a Beverly Hills historian. So you guys are seeing these photos that no one else has seen to get these archival images. Look at how wide the streets are in Truesdale. Back then, they're still that wide today.
Ah, so gorgeous.
So the owner at the time, Walter F. Schuyler, built Villa Tranquilla, pictured here. And he lived there with his wife, who was Jetta Schuyler. Look at her there. But he died in the late 20s, left everything, 37 acres to Jetta, and she lived in this beautiful house by herself. And then she actually sold parcels of the land off to the Gettys to build the Knoll. And instead, she used that money to become a socialite, and she had a best gay friend, and they kind of entertained at this house off and on. Look at it inside. How incredible.
So beautiful, so romantic.
And the street's still there,
like they used to, that's for sure.
No, the street's still there, yeah?
The street is still there. It's a dead-end street, and it's a gorgeous property. It has views of the city. It's right on the treetops, and it's right over the Greystone Mansion.
You can see the Greystone Mansion right here, and then this property is right above. And as time went on, they sold off each little parcel. But what I love about these archival images, if you can see, is that Beverly Crest sign that used to be above the neighborhood. We had Outpost, we had Hollywoodland, and we had Beverly Crest. It's really insane. But as all things do, they tore this house down in the 70s and built the houses that are there now, which is what you can purchase with Williams and Williams. So Branden, why don't you take us inside the two properties? This is 510.
Yeah. Oh, I'm absolutely in love. I love mid-century. I love one level. I love one level living. Obviously, these could be bought together and then torn down if you wanted to and build your dream home. Or you could have two individual properties. That's how we prefer to sell it. If if we get two people that say, oh, we want to split them up and sell them separately, we could do that too. But this is such a beautiful property. Funny enough, I was door knocking this property for 15 years, and there was this really.
Tell me your door knocking script. Like,
well,
what do you do?
I would go on this street, and I saw it's a beautiful street. I'm like, this street has views. This is amazing. Oh my God! And it was kind of one of those finds where it's like a sneaky street in Beverly Hills that nobody knows about. So I door knocked this house. And it was an old couple that lived there. And I think he was an attorney. They had no kids. And it was a time machine straight from 1970 when they bought the house. And they invited me in the house. And I was like, oh, my God, beautiful house. Would you ever want to sell this house?
Wait a minute. You just knock on their door and you say what? I'm Branden Williams.
I just said, hey, I'm a realtor in the neighborhood. I sell a lot of properties in the neighborhood. Here's my card. I'm in love with your house. It's such a beautiful house. Are you ever thinking about selling? If you ever think about selling, I would love to help out. I'm your guy. Here's why. Maybe give them a little pamphlet brochure on me, what I've sold. But funny enough is if you put the energy out there. So I didn't actually end up selling the house for them. The neighbor, Robert Flaxman, who's selling it now, is the one that brokered the deal because he was their neighbor right before they both passed away. But now, because of the energy I put forward, I am now selling it. So it is a full circle game, like what we were talking about with acting. Whatever you do in life is not a failure. Everything is being done for a reason, and you look back and you go, I can't believe, I kept door knocking that house, and now I get to finally sell that house. So thank you to the big amigo. There is a life force out there. And,
the big amigo. The big amigo.
Yeah, that's what I call him.
Well, okay, so there's two houses. This is 510 Stonewood Drive, which is
Yep.
beautiful, Hollywood Regency, impeccable. But yes, here is a rendering made by the current owner. He had a dream of building a retaining wall, a 14-foot high retaining wall, combining the two properties into one. But now he's selling. And also, this is the first lot, but here's the second lot. It's 520 and more of a modern house. So you really have both.
Well, that's that classic mid-century brick, one level, very kind of John Wolfe. Very, yeah, it's like a John Wolfe, but it's not a John Wolfe. And it was remodeled, I think, in the last 10 years, and it's a beautiful house. Like I said, it sits on all those treetops, and it's more modernized. The other house, 510, had a light remodel done on it, but this is such a beautiful location. This is one of the best locations in Beverly Hills. And we sold two similar lots like that up on Truesdale. I can't name who we sold it to because we have an NDA, but it's easy to guess. But those properties sold for $62.5 million as teardowns. So I think this is a very good deal. Yeah.
Wow. Comment section. If you'd like to go ahead and guess who bought those lots, you can in the comment section. This is one of my favorite photos of Stonewood. It really is truly a beautiful home in LA, and the views are spectacular. We've got people from Germany in the comment section. Sandro says, look at this player. I think he's talking about you. I love this.
I'll take what I can
I love
take.
this property. So, Branden, what's your prediction? If you could look into your crystal ball, who do you think is going to purchase this property? Will it sell as one? Will it sell as two? Will somebody buy this to remodel? Will someone buy it to conjoin?
My prediction is somebody that needs two homes right now and that wants an amazing investment in Beverly Hills and understands the value of what I call brown gold, and that's, blue chip prime Beverly Hills real estate.
Your
and
own
knowing that if you
cul-de-sac.
put your money there, whatever happens to the stock market, whatever happens to the dollar, whatever happens to gold, you know that you own something great in a prime location. And there's so many things. You could have two houses, you could lease them out, you could go for plans and permits and build your dream home on there, recapture the Villa Tranquilla look or go for a modern. And it's just one of those properties that lends itself so many different ways.
You can go the Jetta Skylar route and just sell it off parcel by parcel and become a socialite, which is exactly what she did back in the day. There it is again for you history buffs. And here it is now for you current buyers. I just look at all that green. This is not edited, people. That is the real lots. So let's go back. Let's play a game real fast called Winning Like Williams. This is where we ask you quick fire questions about, and you tell us your secrets to becoming a top agent. Are you ready, Branden?
Let's do it.
Quick fire questions. Are you ready?
Okay.
What's your AM routine? Give it to me.
I like to wake up, start looking at the phone, coffee, potentially work out.
You roll over, you look at your phone right away.
I roll over, look at my phone. I'd like to get in some cuddle time with the wife. I find, a little cuddle time gets me stimulated, gets me worked up. And I love cuddling. I'm a cuddler. Aww. And then, I like to ease into it with a couple texts, decide who I'm going to start calling, and then get some coffee and really just start thinking about how I'm going to approach this day and, check in on how I feel, my moods. If I'm sensitive, like today, I kind of woke up a little sensitive and I'm like, okay, just slow into it. You're alive. You're healthy. You're well. You have so much to be, grateful about. And so, that's what I do. I just take it, a second at a time, minute by minute. I try to live in the now. In the now. And is there a rule that you do? I don't contact anyone before a certain time. I don't text anyone. No rules. Out the door. Okay, your personal epiphany during COVID. I feel everyone has learned something about themselves during this wonderful time that we're experiencing. What have you learned about yourself, your personal epiphany or growth during COVID? A lesson? I really realized the power of health, of being healthy, staying healthy, healthy immune system, being as healthy as possible, vitamins, greens, eating healthy, rest, working out, getting sun, vitamin D, not watching the news. Like the news, what does the news inform you about? It's toxic. It's poison. It's there to confuse you. It's there to keep you in conflict, and it's depressing. So it's like depressing. I don't even watch it. And it doesn't do anything for me.
And just rehashes everything. You can just read the headlines on your Apple News and know what's going on. Next one. Who was the last person you called on your phone? Can you check? Who would be the last person? Mine is Alexis.
I checked. I was talking with Greg today. Greg is our office director, and I check in with him a lot. We have great communication. We talk to each other all the time about scheduling, contracts, deals, clients, and he's really my go-to guy. And then I have my wife right next to me, who's also my partner. So we have a really good pyramid trifecta effect.
Yes. Okay. If you had a billboard on Sunset that could say anything, what would your personal mantra be that you want to share with the world as a billboard on Sunset? It's not going to say like.
I've had a couple billboards on Sunset.
I know, but it's not a sales billboard. It's like a message that you want to give to the
message?
World. Yes.
One love. I think one love is the key. I really wish we could get through all this and not have wars and not have fighting and hate. Like, we got to just come together and love, man. It's so important. It's like, stop. Like, let's just have fun, you know? Let's live and
relax. Okay, one item every agent needs. One item every agent who's listening should have in their tool belt.
Humility. Humility is key. Really, checking with yourself. And it's all about your client. So really figuring out your client and their needs.
I love that. How has a past failure set you up for later success?
There's every day there is things that don't go my way. And I have to understand that there's a bigger picture and there's a lesson in everything. And I think that we have to really look at life as lessons. This is why we're still here. And it's all about lessons and having the humility to understand when you're wrong, when you did things wrong, to admit you're wrong, and to keep moving forward. None of us are perfect. It's progress, not perfection.
I've seen you literally admit that you were wrong in meetings. I love that about you.
Don't lie.
I know I have. I heard you on the phone. You were like, look, what have you become better at saying no to during COVID or just in the last 6 months? What have you become better at saying no to?
Shaking hands. I don't like shaking hands. I'm not a big handshaker. I mean, because I hate when you get those sweaty palms and it's like, I just don't like shaking hands. So now I'm just elbowing everybody that way, which I actually like. I don't know. Handshaking is I'm not a big handshaker.
Yeah. I do the kid in play with the feet. The feet is also really good. Best investment you've ever made? Best
investment I ever made was in myself and in learning to love myself. I think that was the most important. One of the biggest things I ever had to figure out is how to really love myself, how to give myself a break, and how to, make myself at peace. Being at peace is the most important thing. And I didn't have that for a long time. And figuring that out to me was the best thing I ever did.
Yes, I agree. And you're also sober, Branden. Would you inspire me every day to be sober because you're so hyper productive? I'm like, well, maybe I should be sober because look at the fucking Williams are killing it. They're sober.
I can tell you this, it's the best decision I ever made. But listen, to each his own. I'm not preaching sobriety. If you have issues, if you struggle with addictions or alcoholism, call me. I'll help you out with it. For me, it was the best decision I ever made.
I love that. Sale you're most proud of. This is a tricky question. It's not your best sale. It's just maybe something that you are most proud of. Could be your first sale.
Yeah, I was thinking of my first sale, but I would have to really say it was my Stanley house. I really love that house so much. I put so much effort and time, and it was a new neighborhood, and it was a different look, and I really helped choreograph that with obviously a team of other people.
You sold it fast. It was
It was just,
fast.
and it was like a piece of me, you know. It was kind of like my homage to LA and the Sunset Strip, and it was cool that we got to work with Lenny on it and kind of, you know, brainstorm. And I got to work with my wife. I got to work with Jason Summers, my partner.
Yes,
And
hey,
I just
Jason.
I got to work with X10, who are incredible.
Amazing
And
architects.
yeah, I got to work with so many
But
great
it just,
people.
all the stars aligned on that one.
It was just, you know, it all came together, and the house came out amazing, and it had an amazing, it was just all, there's so many stories behind it and so much
Yes.
struggle and pain and lessons. And
What was
that
the
house,
biggest
it was,
struggle?
what?
What was your biggest struggle? Your
Well, we
biggest
had a major struggle with the neighbor, and the neighbor he was blocking half of our view. And so we found out that the neighbor, I don't want to name names, but he was married to one of the biggest political guys in the world. I mean, major politician. Let's just put him up in the president. He was at the White House, okay?
He
And
wait,
this
as a
was
guy who's married to a politician?
the owner was a very close family member to somebody that was in the White House, and let's just say vice president, okay?
Got it.
And
Got it.
the guy hadn't lived there in like 10 or 20 years, and he was leasing it out, and he was pissed off at the neighbor before and planted 16-foot ficus hedges around the entire property to block our view. And we didn't know the backstory of this. We had no idea. So we went to him thinking, oh, it's not even really, it doesn't affect him. We could do this. And we literally went to war with the guy to try to get
who won the war?
Of course we won.
Of course you won.
Of course, good always prevails.
Good always prevails. We've got a good question in the comment section from BRandon1. 3 unique ways you sell a property, Brandon. I like that question. BRandon_1. 3 unique ways you sell a property. I know one way you do it with your fucking marketing is always on point. From the photos to the ads, you know where to place it and how to place it. The marketing is on point.
Well, I think the 3 unique ways is, and the most important way is believing in the property. Because if you believe in the property, it makes everything else so much easier. And then figuring out what makes it special. Is it the floor plan? Is it the location? Is it the sunlight? Is it the feeling that it gives you? Is it the master is so amazing that you never want to leave the master suite? Or is it the kitchen is so, what features? And really focusing on the features and the lifestyle. And I'm finding in COVID, the most important thing to, I think, all of us is nature. How do we bring nature into us to make this? Because when we get in nature, I feel like it elevates our prana, our soul, whatever you want to call it. And even if you live in an apartment, I feel like video walls of nature and things of just even like my Apple TV, when it goes to a little seal swimming on it. You know, it's just cool.
The jellyfish.
Yeah, you're just like, what?
It's so true.
So it's stuff like that gets to me. And there's so many different ways. Maybe it was the history of the property. Maybe it's the owners. Oh my God, this owner was so-and-so or did this, or you never know. It's
figure out the hook.
Every property has a soul or has a code. And it's figuring out that code, to crack the code, to be a conduit, and that's a great agent. You're a conduit to making a sale happen and making the stars align and putting a buyer and seller together and doing it in a seamless way where both parties are very happy and they say, thank you so much. Let's move on. And when people talk about you, they say good things about you.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. And last question, advice you give your younger self.
I think it's all about self-love. You know,
self-love.
I think it for me, it's all about, and that was my biggest, you know, it's like, it's just taking the time to really listen to your intuition and doing the right things, because our intuition is so important. Like, you know, and I think we don't talk about that enough as like intuition, health, and self-love and treating others how they should be treated. And, you know, I grew up in Hollywood. I grew up in a pretty crazy time and era. And it was a lot of it was destructive. And I was able to make it through it. A lot of my friends I could count.
Yeah,
I think I had at least 20 friends that passed away growing up in Hollywood. You know, I grew up with a single mom. My father was addicted to drugs, and I have a pretty crazy story. But, you know, I made it a positive, and I didn't want to be like my parents.
You're not a victim.
I made it. I turned it into a positive, and I used that to propel me forward and not keep me stuck. And I didn't use it as an excuse. And when I got sober, I said, I'm not going to play the victim. I'm not going to blame anybody. You know, I was put here for a reason. I was given my parents for a reason. And I'm going to make it all a positive. And I'm going to help others and help do the right thing and be an inspiration for others. And I think I could truly, honestly say that being in this cutthroat business of real estate is that people, when they work with me, they go, you know what? Actually, he's a cool guy. He's not a bad guy. And because so many people sometimes think of me as like I'm this sharp guy, and I'm really not. I really care about everybody, and I care how everybody feels. I'm very sensitive. So I don't know. That's my story.
But you're also not a victim in real estate either. If you do lose a listing or you don't get the deal, you learn from it, and you also don't play the victim in professional life. I love that. Glass of Sobia says, can you save this live, please? Of course, we'll save the live. We will put it on our IGTV later. So if you guys are just joining us now with Branden Williams, you'll be able to go back and listen to all of his advice. Let's go actually use an example of these put to work. Sold Saturday, you recently sold 8 Palms, which is at the bottom of Nichols Canyon. I know a very famous musician saw it a few times, but actually didn't end up buying it. You sold it, and it was designed by Tripp Haynish. Tell me, what was your angle for this property? We were talking about angles and finding, you know, the soul of the house. What was your angle for this one?
Well, I am so blessed to work with Tripp Haynish, Kevin, and Hadi. And it's a development team. It's so messed up. I don't even know Kevin and Hadi's last name. I just call him. I'm so bad with names. And I've worked with these guys and been fortunate to sell several of their homes. But
Hadi Halawi.
Yeah, Hadi Halawi and Kevin Howe.
Kevin Howe. Yes, thank you, Instagram.
Cool. And Tripp Haynish, and they're such inspirations. They're the best guys.
The best.
And they really care about what they do, and they really want to crack the code of the property. And it was such a beautiful setting. It was set on almost an acre in Nichols Canyon, and it felt like you were in Costa Rica or you were in Lake Tahoe. And they did this beautiful teak wood around the house, and it had stone, and it was organic, and it was indoor and outdoor, and it was
so the angle was nature. The angle was nature, and it was the perfect time.
It really brought nature in. It was, you know, into outdoor nature, and I think, and I was, you know, Nichols Canyon's not always easy. There's a lot of properties in Nichols Canyon. I love Nichols Canyon.
I love Nichols Canyon, but it's not an easy sale all the time.
It's not an easy sale. There's houses that up there that don't sell for whatever reason, but these guys cracked the code. They did what everybody wanted. We had several offers on it. We had one of my idols wanted the property and made an offer on it, but somebody came in with better terms, unfortunately. Fortunately for them, but unfortunately for this musician. And, you know, I try to make everybody happy, but at the end of the day, it's the terms, it's the price. And this other person was really willing to close it down and buy it fast.
What did it sell for, Branden?
It sold for $5.7 million, which is a lot of money in Nichols Canyon.
That's a great price.
And it was a beautiful house, and I'm so happy to be part of the project. And I actually got to name it 8 Palms because there was 8 palm trees there. And I was like, what's the code for this property? And I told them, I said, guys, we really need I'm fortunate enough that they take my advice, and I come there before it's finished. And I say, guys, I want this at nighttime to look so beautifully landscape lit. And I want all these trees and everything landscape lit. I want to hear the flow sounding of water. I just want to make you feel like you're in Hawaii. And so I had them light these palm trees, and it happened to be 8 palm trees. And I said, that's it. I said, the name of this property is 8 Palms. And it stuck. And it stuck. And it's just little things like that. It's having the humility. It's not about you. It's about the property, and checking in and figuring out the property and figuring out, oh my God, that's 8 palm trees. It's right there. Let's light these up at nighttime. Let's take in the nature. And, you know, these people came back at nighttime and go, oh my God, I'm blown away. I wouldn't imagine that this looks at nighttime better at nighttime than the daytime.
Than it does during the day.
And it's the little things when you go the extra mile, and you go the extra mile with landscaping, landscape lighting, fire pits, you know, great lighting. It's everything. And any great movie has great lighting. And I was able to give some of those inputs on this property. Listen, I'm not going to take credit for the property because these guys knocked it out of the park. But I got to put a couple little spices on it that I think helped it out.
All right, well then let's I'm hearing the theme here with cracking the code of your listings that you're representing. Let's hop to your very last listing. Audience, are you watching? We're going to actually have you guess the price of this listing. It's in Venice. And tell us, Branden, what is your code for this property? It is directly on the beach. You've got the boardwalk right here. You haven't titled this property yet, but you are selling it and you know the owner well. Tell us a little bit about it, and let's see if we can guess the price.
Well, it's Oceanfront Walk, Venice. It's right at the 50-yard line of Venice. You're right in the heart of the action. You got Muscle Beach right down. You got, you know, you got the whole, just Venice is right at your feet. You walk outside and the boardwalk's right there.
Right there, people.
You got all this great surf photography.
3 bedrooms, 4 baths.
It's actually 4 bedrooms. There's a bedroom downstairs. There's a huge surf closet for all your toys. And it's just the ultimate. I love Venice because Venice is closest to New York. I love New York City. I love Soho.
You do?
Oh my God, I'm in love with New York City.
I would pay you for an Angelino through and through.
I love New York City, man. I'm so upset that I never got to live there yet. But I love New York City, and I love the energy in the streets. And that's what Venice has. Venice has all of these great restaurants, great vibes, tourism, people walking, energy. And you just walk out, you just feel it, and it hits you. And then you got the Pacific Ocean right there, and you got Washington Pier for surfing. You got the breakwater right out in front for surfing. And it's just the energy in Venice. If you're somebody young or older or just need energy and want to feel that you're living in a city that's vibrant, colorful, Venice is the place. I mean, you can't But
look at this. I mean, look at this listing. You have that living, entertaining area on the first floor. Then you have the master on the second floor, which looks right out to the ocean. And then you have a rooftop deck, which is insane. I mean, here's the living room.
And it was
here's the bedroom.
It was completely redone with all the steel encased doors. I mean, the place is perfection. It's mint. Whoever buys this is not going to have to do anything. They're going to get to move right in and not have to deal with the headaches or the brain damage of buying. Most of these places on Oceanfront Walk are old and you got to redo them. This place is ready to go, dialed in. I think even some of the furniture can be available.
Okay, so a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, a little over 5,000 square feet. We've got a $10 million from Beverly Hills Real Estate, a 5.4 from Martin Realty. None of those are close enough without going over. I'll leave it to the comment section to keep guessing, but it's not 5.4 and it's not 10. Branden, this is a surfing buddy of yours, correct?
Yeah, this is a really good friend of mine. I don't know if I want to name names just because
you don't have to name names. He's just a surfing buddy.
But he's a very good friend, surfing buddy, and he's one of the main partners on the Kelly Slater Wave. And he's actually building the Kelly Slater Wave in Palm Springs.
What's that?
If anybody's out there that wants to be a part of the absolute, if you ever wanted to surf, this is a contained environment. It's 3,000-foot long wave. It's only almost a minute-long ride, and they could tailor-make it to your needs. So if you want to check off your bucket list and you want to learn how to surf without sharks and without shark reefs, and just be a surfer, and there's nothing like being on top of water and soaring. It's a feeling that is so addicting. It keeps you completely in the moment. This guy is creating this and putting it all together
in Palm Springs?
In Palm Springs, and it's going to be called Coral Mountain because it's right next to this beautiful mountain that looks like coral, and it's going to be the absolute. I'm also helping with investments there to put this together. The property is already bought, and a Kelly Slater wave will be there in the next 2 years, and it is going to change.
I would love to learn how to surf on a Kelly Slater wave in Palm Springs.
I will tell you this much right now. There is nothing better, and they have this wave nailed. It is amazing. Wow. Hold on. I'm going to show you a picture of me surfing it right now.
All right. You pull up the picture. We do have a winner. Crusader Sanchez is correct with 7.9. It's 7.995, oceanfront Venice, California. That's incorrect. It's 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 5,000 square feet. This is a gorgeous listing, Brandon.
With a name like that, of course he got it right.
Crusader Sanchez. Coral Mountain. Yes, that is in Palm Springs. Brandon, that is incredible. So you're going to build this kind of indoor surf arena?
No, it's outdoor. It's a pool that goes for 3,000 feet. It's like 2,800 feet. And it's a system that drags along this thing that makes a wave, and it goes off this reef, and anybody could do it. And it's absolutely incredible. And it's like a volume machine. You could turn it from 1 to 10. So if you're a beginner surfer, you don't have to get that crazy barrel. But it is absolutely spectacular. This is coming. This is a reality. People dreamed of it forever. And the best thing about it is this is a real wave. And it could become a wave like Hawaii. And it could become a wave like Bali. It's already there. It's already invented. You can look at it.
That's incredible.
Wave. Yeah.
But also great for Palm Springs because there really isn't a lot to do in Palm Springs. You've got the funicular, you've got thrift stores, and you've got restaurants. That's it.
Well, I think Palm Springs is such a spectacular place. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. One of my clients there owns Bob Hope's old house, and he was like, I wanted to always buy a house in Morocco, and I would always go to Morocco to buy a house, but I realized Palm Springs is just as beautiful as Morocco. It's one of the greatest places. There's so much history, so much nostalgia, so many great restaurants. It's so close to Los Angeles. The weather is absolutely beautiful there. Yeah, it gets hot in the summertime. Golfing.
It's really hot.
There's snowboarding close by. The mountains are close by. There's car racing with thermal. This is going to be the new – I think I'm going to retire in Palm Springs, to be honest with you. So
really?
Oh, I'm in love with Palm Springs.
Okay. You can move to Palm Springs. I'll take your Malibu house, which we've all seen on Instagram, but I have not seen in person yet. That is gorgeous, and I can't wait to see it.
Yes, and every time I have 2 photos of these cool Asian tigers that you gave me, and I put them right up there, and I think of you all the time. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Brandon, thank you for coming on the show. That's it for us today. I want to thank you for your time. I know you've got a bunch of showings and you haven't been on since May, so I really appreciate you coming back because your insight, your energy, it gives me and it gives the audience so much life. So thank you so much for your
Love you guys. Stay positive. We're going to get through this. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Brandon.
Bye.
The one, the only Branden Williams. What a great guy. The #1 agent on the West Coast and a father. I love his story of coming from acting to becoming a top agent. It shows that you can always reinvent yourself. Thank you guys again for watching and keeping it real talk. We're on tomorrow with Farrah Brittany of the agency. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 11:11. And I'm your host, Alexander Ali. Thanks for keeping it real talk. Bye-bye.